Wine had been sprawled across her couch like a starfish, one sock missing here, a mess. The TV playing some random TV late night show she was not even watching. Finally, after an entire week buried under hospital lights, surgical masks, endless charts, and the constant smell of antiseptic, she had one precious night to herself. One night where no one needed her hands to save them. One night where she could exist without responsibility. She let out a tired sigh, eyes fluttering shut. I am not moving, she muttered to the empty apartment, even if the building catches fire. The universe apparently took that as a challenge. Ding dong, Vine ground, burying her face into the cushion. No, no, absolutely not. The doorbell rang again, longer this time, more deliberate. She peeled herself off the couch, irritation simmering beneath her exhaustion. Whoever it was had terrible timing. She padded toward the door, rubbing her eyes, already preparing a polite but firm refusal speech. She unlocked it and froze. There he was, Nicky. Leaning against the doorframe like he owned the place, dressed in black from head to toe, blood staining his shirt, his jacket hanging loosely from one shoulder. His hair was damp, whether from rain or sweat she couldn't tell, and his face was pale, but his eyes sharp, amused. And that smirk, that infuriating, arrogant smirk that made her both want to punch him and scream. Wow, he said lightly, voice smooth despite the obvious pain. You answer faster when you are off duty. Vine swore under her breath. You have exactly 5 seconds to explain why are you bleeding on my doorstep, she snapped, eyes scanning him despite herself. And then you are leaving. He chuckled, then winced. Missed you to my future wife. Her blood pressure spiked instantly. She grabbed his collar and yanked him inside before he could fall or attract attention, slamming the door shut behind them. Do not, she hissed, shoving him toward the wall. Ever call me that again. He leaned closer instead, unfazed. Relax, he murmured. If I wanted you dead, I wouldn't knock. She glared at him. You are not funny. I know, he replied. I'm charming. Vine closed her arms. Why are you here, Nikki? For a moment, something shifted in his expression. Just a flicker, gone as quickly as it appeared. I figured my favorite doctor wouldn't be at the hospital tonight, he said casually. So I came to the next best place. You are insane. True. She exhaled sharply, pinching the bridge of her nose. Sit before you bleed on everything. He grinned. See, you do care. Sit, she repeated, pointing to the couch. He obeyed, slowly, carefully, dropping onto the cushion with a low hiss. The, the sight of him injured made her stomach twist, despite every instinct screaming that she should hurt him. He was her enemy, a mafia prince with blood on his hands. And yet, take off your shirt, she said flatly. His eyebrows shot up, straight to the business. She shot him a look that could kill. Before I change my mind and call the police. That would hurt my feeling, he muttered before he compiled, tugging the fabric over his head. Wine sucked in a breath despite herself. The wound was not fatal, but it was bad. A bullet grazed near his shoulder, dried blood streaking down his skin. Bruises bloomed along his ribs. She grabbed her medical kit with practiced efficiency, kneeling in front of him. This is going to sting, she warned. I trust you, he said softly. She paused, eyes flicking up to his. Don't, she replied. Make this weird. He smiled anyway. As she cleaned the wound, he watched her intently, eyes following every movement. You, you always look like this when you are focused, he murmured like the world disappears. She tightened the bandage a little more than necessary. Ow, he hissed, cruel. You deserve worse. Probably, he admitted, but you still helped me. She didn't answer. When she finished, she stood abruptly. You need clean clothes. She disappeared into the hallway, returning with the folded set of clothes. My dad's, she explained stiffly. He and my mom stay here on weekends. Nikki took the clothes, smirking. So I'm meeting the parents now. She shoved him toward the bathroom, changed quietly. When he emerged, dressed in clothes far too soft and domestic for someone like him, she had to look away. She went to the kitchen, putting a pot on the stove. What are you doing? He asked, leaning against the doorway. Soup. For me? For your recovery, she corrected. Don't get ideas. He watched her stare, something unreadable in his gaze. You let me in, he said quietly. You even let me sit on your couch. She stiffened. Don't push it. When the soup was done, she handed him a bowl along with medicine. Eat, then you leave. He obeyed surprisingly quietly. Later, when exhaustion hit her, she gestured toward the couch. You sleep here, I will take the bedroom. She turned away. A hand caught her wrist. One. She stopped. I don't sleep well alone, he said, voice low, and you know why. Her chest tightened. Please, he added softly, just tonight. She hesitated. Letting him into her apartment was one thing. Letting him into her bedroom, that was dangerous, but she nodded. In the dim light of her home, she moved to lie on the edge of the bed. I am not touching you, she warned. He smiled faintly. Liar. The moment she settled, he pulled her gently toward him, careful of his injury. I need cuddles, he murmured, burying his face in her hair. She froze, then slowly relaxed. Just this once, she whispered. He held her like she was something precious, and for the first time in a long time, neither of them felt like enemies. Nikki's arm stayed around mine, loose but certain, as if he was afraid tightening it might make her disappear. For a second, neither of them spoke. The room was quiet in a way that felt unfamiliar. No gunshots, no siren, no shouting from the past. Just the soft hum of heater and the faint sound of the city outside her window. Wine lay stiff against his chest, eyes wide open, staring at the wall. She was wide aware of everything. The warmth of his body seeping through the fabric of her shirt, the steady rise and fall of his chest beneath her cheek. The way his fingers rested at her waist, not gripping, not demanding, just there. That doesn't mean anything, she said quietly. Nikki hummed. Of course it does. She shifted slightly, trying to create space. He noticed immediately. Hey, he murmured, voice low and gentle. I'm not trapping you. I know, she said softer now. I just don't like sharing my bed. I noticed, he said lightly. You look like you are about to escape through the window. She let out a small, reluctant huff. You're heavy. I have been shot, he protested. Be nice. She glanced up at him, annoyed. You are the one who broke into my house. I knocked, he corrected very politely. She rolled her eyes, but her body relaxed just a little more against him. His thumb moved absent-mindedly, brushing small circles against her side. The touch was slow, careful, like he was testing boundaries he didn't want to cross. You are warm, he murmured. That's called being alive. Good, he said. I prefer you that way. She stiffened again. Don't say things like that. Why? Because she said, swelling. You don't get to sound soft. He smiled faintly, eyes half closed. And yet here I am, bleeding, wearing your father's clothes, cuddling you. She sighed. That's not something I ever imagined. Me neither, he admitted. I thought you did throw a scalpel at me. I considered it. He chuckled, the sound vibrating against her cheek. You're still angry. Yes. But you didn't push me away. She didn't answer. Nicky tilted his head lightly, careful not to move too much. Can I ask you something? No. He smiled. I will ask you anyway. Why did you let me stay? Her finger curls into the fabric of his shirt because she said slowly, if I sent you away like that, you'd probably bleed out somewhere stupid. That's concerned. He teased. That's basic human decency. And you hate me, he added. Yes, but you still patched me up. She finally looked up at him, eyes sharp. Don't make this into something it's not. He met her gaze, expression unusually serious. I am not. For a moment the teasing faded. His hand stilled at her waist. You're safe with me tonight, he said quietly, I promise. Her chest tightened at the sincerity in his voice. You don't get to promise that, she whispered. I know, he replied, but I will anyway. She exhaled, the tension in her shoulders easing despite herself. Minutes passed. Then your hair smells nice, he murmured. She groaned. You are unbelievable. It smells like home, he added. That made her freeze. Don't, she said softly, say that. He frowned slightly. Why? Because, she replied barely above a whisper. You don't belong in my home. He didn't argue. Instead, he shifted just enough to tuck her closer, his chin resting gently on the top of her head. Then I will pretend, he said, just for tonight. Her heart betrayed her, beating faster. She hated how natural it felt. How bad is it? She asked after a while. The wound, he replied. Yes. He shrugged carefully. I have had worse. That's not reassuring. You are worrying again. I'm not. You are, he said softly. Your fingers keep checking my bandage. She looked down, realizing he was right. She pulled her hand back quickly, force of habit. I like it, he said. Of course you do. Silence settled again, but it was not uncomfortable now. It was calm. Van shifted slightly, trying to get comfortable without disturbing him. Van, he murmured. What? If you are uncomfortable, tell me. She hesitated. Your arm. What about it? It's fine, she admitted. Just don't move. His lips curved into a small smile. Bossy, shut up. Yes, doctor. She shook her head, but there was a small, faint smile tugging at her lips. He noticed. There it is, he said softly. What? That smile you pretend you don't have. She hit her face against his chest. Go to sleep, can't. Why? Because you are here. Her breath hitched. He felt it. His grip tightened just a fraction, not possessive, just protective. You are dangerous, she murmured. See, so are you, he replied. You just hide it better. She let out a quiet laugh before she could stop herself. He smiled wider. There, he said, I win. You are impossible, and yet, he whispered, you are still here. She didn't deny it. Slowly, cautiously, she allowed herself to rest fully against him, her arms slipping around his waist. He froze for half a second, then relaxed completely, like a small gesture meant everything. Good night, future. Finish that sentence, she warned. He chuckled softly. Good night, Ryan. Her eyes fluttered shut. For once, the enemy was not a threat. He was just a wounded man holding her like she was the only safe thing left in the world. And she hated, absolutely hated how right it felt.